Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My ex and her family are idiots, and I'm tired of them. The short background story. I'd been together with my ex for nearly 10 years, and we'd both been abandoned. We never wanted children. Ever. At the start of last year, she fell pregnant and was absolutely over the moon with joy that we were having a kid. I'd never told her that I was completely sterile since the age of 10, and probably so, but revealed that to her. She laughed and said it was impossible. I moved out within a week, and she gave birth in June last year. She has stuck to her story that there is no possibility the child belongs to anyone else, despite 2 paternity tests establishing no relation between me and her daughter. One court-ordered that protects me from child support. I am thankful to my lawyer for preempting that. A good lawyer is a godsend, by the way. I love where I live. I grew up in this city and the one next over, smallish regional cities in Australia. My new fiancé of a year also grew up here and is a part-time carer. She shares looking after her parents between her brothers and sisters. I have strong roots here, close friends, a fantastic job I love, and everything in my life is here. My ex is much the same. When it comes to the baby business, her entire family and circle of friends are completely obsessed. My ex has been arrested for stalking me several times. Her father and cousins have physically threatened me and my fiancé numerous times, and I have AVOs, restraining orders, out on 6 of them, including my ex. I'm sick of it. The local police are sick of it, and while they're staying helpful, they're short with me. Like, this is, oh, it's you again, when my ex repeatedly breaches her orders to keep away. Part of the problem is my ex has the gift of the gab. She's been able to talk to anybody and anybody into anything as long as I've known her. I've always been quieter, except around people I know very well. I've had workmates pull me aside to have a chat man to man about stepping up to the responsibility of a kid. I snapped, and one of those times ended in threatening words on my behalf to my coworker to leave me alone. He is technically a rank above me, but HR came to the fore and had words to him about what he did, but also me for my reaction. He still thinks he was in the right and is passive-aggressive towards me about not taking care of a kid he thinks is mine. It's none of his business, nothing to do with him. He's not involved in any of this, apart from being a proud dad of 4 who knows someone that my ex knows. This baby rubbish has split her family too. I had a long discussion with her mother a few months after it all started, and she said she believed me that the kid wasn't mine. It wasn't long after that the friction between her mother and her father pushed them apart. I'm sure her father would K me if he had the chance for abandoning the granddaughter he believes is mine. And her mother wants her daughter to front up and admit she was wrong. Her mother split and moved out of the family home last year. My ex blames me for this too. This isn't just an internet spat. Blocking her on Facebook or email or phone isn't the quick option out because, for one, I'm not on the wretched site. And blocking phone numbers and emails doesn't work for the determined idiot who gets a new phone number or address so that sometimes I'll wake up to several hundred texts swinging between A, begging, then to threatening, and A again. My fiancé and I are due in court on Thursday to confront her again. I'm tired of this. I know my fiancé is tired of this. Repeatedly saving evidence of a communications to us from her and her family is tiring. Dealing with the people who know us both, small city, there are many common people, and explaining the situation over and over again is tiring. Dealing with, well, maybe you're not sterile, is tiring. Dragging out the paternity test results, I keep a copy in my wallet, and that I need to do that says a lot, is tiring. I'm usually talkative if people like, but being forced to be short with people and just go, look, shut up, this is none of your business, is against my nature and also tiring. Paying a lawyer is tiring and expensive. My ex has been given the lenient end of the stick because of her daughter, but I'm just the tiniest bit hopeful she'll have to face the music this time because she made direct physical threats to my life. I know even if she's locked up for a long time, that it's not going to be 100% helpful in the end. There are so many people she's brought around to her side, and I can't see things stopping completely. And it's coming from a position of hate within me. I hate my ex for doing this to us, for not facing her own actions for her daughter's sake, and for not dealing with the fallout from what she did herself. I want to see her suffer. I want to see her locked up so she's not free to continue her stalking while me and the woman I love have to deal with the fallout. I want to see the members of her family who have harassed us for so long see her for what she is, a criminal harasser and abuser, and I look forward with joy to their disappointment in her. I had to let go of the betrayal of so much of what made our relationship. I was able to wish her well last year, but it feels like I only have so much forgiveness within me, and I'm moving backwards now, mentally. I'm in a fantastic relationship with a woman who is utterly understanding of how none of this is my fault. But all the same, this situation is wearing on her too. I want to protect her from that. She shouldn't have to deal with it as much as she has. How do I keep the life I love here and stay sane when all this is going on? How do I let go of the hate for my ex? How do I distance myself until this all blows over? It feels like a nightmare that doesn't end, and at best, it'll be years before anyone settles down and just learns to deal with the fact she's deceived them. Local press will love such a story, since everyone in town apparently knows already something is going on. OP should go ahead and make this a local affairs bit. Show that paternity test on television and end the chatter. It'll be uncomfortable for a while, but at least nobody can accost OP about stepping up. Or OP can make a blog post somewhere about his experiences being harassed and stalked by a woman without actually naming the woman, along with screenshots of her with names blocked out. And whenever someone comes up to him to badger him about his ex, he can hand them a link to his blog and tell them think again before they join in on his ex's harassment party. Background: my family has its roots in Chicago, and there was always a rivalry between those who were White Sox fans and Cubs fans. Since both teams did spring training in Phoenix, my grandpa always had a dream of treating his entire family to a week-long baseball-focused vacation where we'd see as many games as possible. This year, he finally decided to do it, and there are 15 of us here, all the same hotel. Before we left, my Aunt Jean, 33 female, texted me and asked if I'd be interested in watching her son Jaden for $10 an hour. I said that would be great. Yesterday was the first full day we were together. Jean basically showed up with Jaden at 7:30 a.m. for me to watch him. I was a little taken aback because we hadn't discussed any time frames, but I was like, okay, I got this. I asked when she'd be back, and she said like noonish. So I hung around with Jaden all morning, played with him, swam, you name it. It was fun, but I was very ready to be relieved. She didn't leave me any money, so I paid for his lunch. At 1 p.m. she texted me, "Hey hun, I'm sorry I didn't realize game started at 1:05. Be back after." I texted her back that I really wanted to see the game, so maybe she could send one of the cars my grandpa rented to pick us up. I didn't hear back from her. I texted everyone else, but I guess by the time they saw, the game was about over. At almost 5, I texted Jean and said, "Where are you guys? I fed Jaden at lunch and he's hungry." She texted back, "On our way to the hotel. I think we'll eat in the hotel restaurant, but I have food for Jaden in room." So I checked for food, and all I found was a huge bag of Lay's and a bottle of Dr. Pepper. I decided I would go to the hotel restaurant and wait for them. So at 5:30, everyone but Aunt Jean and her boyfriend showed up to the hotel restaurant. My grandpa paid for Jaden to eat, and I texted Jean as to what her plans were, and I didn't hear a single thing out of her for the rest of the night. My mom helped me watch Jaden, and I was very relieved. She had gotten Jaden a rollaway bed he really wanted to sleep on in her room, so I decided that I would just lay down with him until Jean got back in. I ended up falling asleep and didn't even realize what time it was until Jean shook me awake at 4:30 a.m. this morning. It took me a minute to shake the cobwebs off, and I did the math in my head and realized there was no way she could afford $210 for one day sitting, So I said to her, "Aunt Jean, why don't we make it an even 100, and then we can work out a better schedule for tomorrow?" She looked at me almost in shock and said, "I can't afford $100. We're family anyways." I felt a pit in my stomach and said that we agreed upon $10 an hour. She said that she didn't remember, but we could talk about it tomorrow, today. I was flummoxed, and I said I paid for Jaden's lunch out of my own pocket, and she said, "Thank you for that," as she was ushering me out the door. Well, I went back to our room, and my dad was livid. He wanted to march down the hall and take money out of Jean's purse. My grandpa was also furious with Jean for taking advantage of me like that. My grandma and mom and my other aunt all suggested basically, "You know Jean, we'll all just take turns pitching in from here on out." I saw what that meant yesterday. I got stranded. Well, like clockwork, Jean showed up at 7:30 and said that Jaden was keeping her and her boyfriend from sleeping in. My dad exploded on her. I mean, I've never seen him so mad at anyone. Jean is his sister. My mom started screaming at my dad. My grandpa heard the commotion in the hallway and started screaming at my dad. My aunt tried to make peace between everyone. And then my grandpa came out and told Jean that she was ruining his dream trip on day G-damned-1. Jean then basically tried to turn it all around on me and say that I'm greedy for actually expecting money from her when I was doing her a favor like family should. Jean pulled a very dramatic scene, saying that she was leaving for the airport and I thought she had left. Today, we had fun, but the scene was very, very tense between all of us. We didn't really talk about what happened that morning. I just happened to see Jean down the hall, so I guess she didn't leave. My question is this. Since everyone is so mad, and it seems to be ruining everyone's fun, especially for my grandpa, should I just go offer to babysit for free, but maybe put more strict boundaries on the time limits? Or should I just say I didn't cause this, and I'll babysit if Jean sticks to her original arrangement? Or should I just have nothing to do with her? OP should absolutely not give this childish woman her way. She is an adult who knew exactly what she was doing when she offered OP $10 an hour. She thought she could bait OP into doing the crap she didn't want to do. And then she thought when it actually came time to pay the bill, she could make a big scene and get OP to back down and take advantage of OP because she didn't think OP would actually fight back. Jean will take advantage of people till the day she dies if no one ever stands up to her. OP's family's reaction tells us everything. This is her typical behavior, and it's hurtful to OP's family and needs to end. To start off, although we don't have an excess of money, we are not poor. I grew up poor. The can't keep the lights on, 1 meal per day kind of poor, so I know what it's like. Even then, we always had a roof over our head at least. My husband and I have a lovely house, food in the pantry. Our children want for nothing and have all the toys and extracurricular activities they want. We can usually do something vacation-y each year, just a day or two at a local amusement park or similar, versus traveling somewhere, but not a bad life. We did run into some financial trouble over the last few years, and some unexpected medical issues and legal fees racked up, so we decided that we would file for bankruptcy. Again, while we have enough money to live relatively comfortably, these tens of thousands of dollars are not going to be able to be paid back. So we made that difficult choice. And once we did, it was a relief because now we can afford regular life stuff instead of paying off that crushing debt. Relevant. We work at the same company. Unbeknownst to me, he has been talking around the office about our extremely bad financial situation. And since he grew up rather well off, he exaggerated how dire everything is for us. So now HR has come to me to let me know that they've decided the company will sponsor our family for the holiday and buy us a meal and gifts for our kids. I was absolutely astonished. I confronted my husband, and he defended his actions, saying we did need the help, and I shouldn't let pride get in the way of accepting help. I'm disgusted that he could think we're deserving of this help that could go to a truly needy family, and he just doesn't get it. He even had the nerve to say he knows about poverty because his family couldn't always afford takeout food, etc. How do I make him see that he has no idea what poverty is? To recognize how fortunate we are and to stop running his mouth about our personal lives to my coworkers. We have a non-expensive vacation coming up that we are gifting to our children for Christmas because they don't need any toys or anything else. And people from my work are on my Instagram. There are a million ways for them to see that we are not as hard off as he seems to think we are. I'm furious and humiliated, and I don't know how to run damage control on this situation at work, or how to handle my husband's absurd behavior. I think OP's husband may be confusing needing more with needing help. I agree with OP's sentiments. If you can afford to put food on the table, you don't beg someone else to do it for you. I'd be concerned because others may think OP's husband is intentionally misrepresenting their situation for financial gain, including OP's employers, especially when they hear about their vacation.